All right, welcome to the deep dive. We've got some source material here sent in by you, our listener.
Yep, and our job really is to unpack it, find the core ideas for you.
Exactly, give you that shortcut. And today, wow, we're digging into some pretty profound stuff.
Yeah, this material looks at those life moments, the ones that just change everything.
It's about the impact, sure, but also what we learn and what happens next.
What life looks like after the dust settles, basically.
And this source, it really hammers home this idea of a clear before and after line in life.
But the catch is you almost never see it coming. You only know it's there once you're, well, on the other side.
It mentions things like one phone call or one crash, one diagnosis, even one decision.
Right. Tiny moments, huge consequences. And it talks about exploring the in-between.
The in-between.
Yeah, that space where the stories live. Stories about life, death, and what the source calls what matters in the middle.
Okay. Let's get into it. The first story in this material is, well, it's intense. A personal account of a freeway accident.
It really paints a picture, doesn't it? Someone who's 33, just heading to work like any other day, maybe running a bit late.
Just totally normal. Routine.
And then, bam, this truck swerves. The source says the impact was felt before it even, registered mentally.
And it says time didn't slow down, it just shattered. That's a powerful word.
It is. And the outcome described, waking up 3 days later.
To the diagnosis.
Yeah.
Paralyzed.
Yeah. And the source really emphasizes it wasn't just the body that changed in that instant.
No, it was the whole expected future. The identity they thought they had. Gone.
It's interesting how the source digs into that kind of sudden violent change, how normal can just evaporate.
All those routines, the plans, the expectations you build up over years.
Suddenly just not there anymore. Wiped clean.
But, even with that shattering, the source points out something really human, that people somehow keep going, even while they're, mourning the life they thought they were living.
Absolutely. Mourning what was and what they thought would be.
Yeah.
Now, the source shifts gears a bit.
Right. It brings in a different kind of story from a listener about a father diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
And this provides such a stark contrast, doesn't it?
Totally. Not that one sudden crash, but change happening in 100 small ones. That's the phrase used.
Yeah, and the source really captures the emotional weight of that, saying every time he forgot something, it felt like a little funeral.
Oof. That slow drip of loss.
Piece by piece. And the outcome mentioned. Having to, well, learn to love him differently.
And just like the person in the accident story, the speaker realizing they had to become someone new for both of us.
So when you put these two side by side, what the source seems to be doing is showing two major ways before can just end.
The single shattering blow versus the slow cumulative erosion.
Exactly. And this leads to a really insightful point the source makes about grief. It suggests we actually grieve twice.
Twice. How so?
Well, once for the person or the life that was lost, right?
Okay, yeah.
And then, again, maybe more subtly, for the person you used to be, the you that existed in the before.
Wow. Grieving the self from before, that adds, that adds a whole other dimension.
It really does.
So, okay, the ground shifts. What happens then? According to the source, what survives in that in-between space?
Well, the suggestion is that we instinctively kind of cling to whatever's left, whatever remains.
And the source lists some things, right? Like sometimes it's people who stick around.
Or sometimes it's finding a new sense of purpose, maybe unexpectedly.
And sometimes it's just, what was the phrase? Just a stubborn belief that we're not done yet.
Yeah, that resilience.
Yeah.
And the source makes this powerful argument, too. The day everything changed, it might break you.
But it doesn't necessarily leave you broken.
Right. It can actually build something.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Build what, though? What kinds of things does the source say can actually come out of that wreckage?
It talks about things like unexpected resilience, finding strength you didn't know you had.
Okay.
Or developing a deeper empathy, maybe. Understanding others' pain differently.
And finding new paths.
Exactly. Sometimes a new path you never would have chosen, but still somehow fits. It's not always this conscious rebuilding, Sometimes it just emerges.
And the source includes some shorter listener stories, too, doesn't it? To kind of illustrate this.
It does. Really brings it to life.
Mm-hmm.
There's one about someone losing their job in their apartment. Same week.
Devastating. Feeling completely done.
Totally. Like rock bottom.
Right.
But then they find a community center, get a hot meal.
And that small thing
Becomes, in their words, the start of my new life.
Yeah.
That tiny anchor point.
Then there's the person whose wife died suddenly. He was only 41, thought he couldn't possibly survive that.
Yeah. But the source notes how, for him, grief actually became a teacher.
How so?
It forced a kind of presence, it says. Made him slow down, experience life differently. The loss, weirdly, became a catalyst.
A catalyst for a new way of being. Wow.
And one more quick one, someone getting sick, really sick, being forced to stop pretending I was okay.
Which probably felt awful at the time.
Oh, for sure. Like a disaster.
Yeah.
But looking back, they saw it as a change they didn't know I needed. It forced a necessary shift.
So all these little stories, they really echo those bigger themes from the source, don't they? Resilience, new purpose from loss, tough lessons.
Exactly. They tie it all together. Finding strength in crisis, unexpected paths emerging, learning from the hardest things.
So if we try to boil it all down, what's the main takeaway from this source material about these huge life-altering moments?
I think it keeps coming back to this central idea. The day everything changed. It's never the end.
Yeah, it really reframes it, doesn't it? Not as an ending, but as a beginning in disguise.
A difficult beginning, no doubt, but a beginning nonetheless. And there's a direct message for anyone listening who feels like they're in it right now.
Right. In the aftermath, the confusion, the pain.
The source basically says, know this. You're not alone. Simple as that.
And it makes that critical point, too. You might not be who you were before that line got crossed.
But that doesn't mean you're less.
Not at all.
The source puts it like this. You're just in the in-between. And here, you're still becoming.
That idea in the in-between and still becoming, that's really something to sit with after everything's been turned upside down.
It really is. And thinking about that, based purely on this source material, here's something for you, the listener, to maybe chew on.
Mm-hmm.
What parts of who you were before everything changed, what you actually not need to carry with you into this in-between space?
Mm-hmm.
And thinking about still becoming, what unexpected possibilities does that truly open up, even when you're dealing with profound loss or massive disruption?